I guarantee every single one of us has woken up in the morning and looked at ourselves in the mirror and then looked up to the sky and said, how the hell am I going to transform into the person that I want to be? How the hell am I going to heal? I feel like I have so far to go. Look at where I am. Can't sleep. Can't eat. Headaches. Stomach aches. Antisocial. Don't care. To be social. Relationship in the dumps. Financially in the dumps. At a job you don't care for. And that doesn't care for you. Surrounded by people who don't have your best interest in mind. How am I going to heal? Well, one of the best ways is to put the carriage before the horse. They tell you not to do that. Let me explain. Now, I know that this is a concept that you probably heard before, over and over and over again, and it may sound woo-woo to some of you, new agey, but I'm here to tell you it works. Some of that stuff I'm into. I'm not a new age kind of guy. I'm a meat and potatoes person. Practical. But I'm not going to discount methods that work under any circumstances. So when I say put the carriage before the horse, what do I mean? I mean visualizing. That's what I mean. I mean visualizing yourself as the person that you want to be. I mean sitting down every single day and forcing, yeah, I said it, forcing yourself to not just see yourself as the person you wish to transform into, but to feel like that person. Let me explain this. And I know you've heard this before. But if you can take time every day and sit and force yourself to not only see, but to feel like a successful person, success being different for anybody. And I don't mean necessarily financially success. I'm talking about the type of success that we need as people who have survived. Sometimes our success is just a feeling. Sometimes our success is just a train of thoughts that aren't negative and destructive. Sometimes our success is just sleeping through a night for consecutive nights. Sometimes our success is being a person who's not overcome with rage and terror and sadness. So if you can put on some music that makes you calm, sit there and build moment by moment in your mind what a person like that would do, say, feel, eat, how they dress, how they would go to the grocery store, how they would pick up the phone, how they would interact with people at their job, how would they talk to strangers, how would they talk to family. Creating scenarios in your mind over and over, and then interjecting that person that you want to transform into those situations. And again, not just verbalizing it in your head, but staying there until you feel like you were that person. I know your imagination is good enough. We all have that imagination. Hell, that imagination has always worked against us, hasn't it? Thinking about the worst, fantasizing about the worst, creating the worst situations in our mind and in our life because of all the fantasizing and thinking about those situations. At some point, we're creating it. That's another video. There are so many times you sit there and if you have to grit your teeth and squeeze the arms of your chair and sweat just to feel like that person for 10 seconds, then you've healed. You're on the road to healing. You may have to do it multiple times a day. You owe it to yourself. And if we can't feel who we want to transform into, we can't heal. I have news for you. It's not going to happen. Our mind is so powerful. And I think trauma survivors' minds are so powerful. If you've made it to this point, the power and the assertiveness that you had to display to yourself in order to be right here listening to this video, you probably don't give yourself enough credit. And until you realize that that same force and that same emotion and that same energy that you put into visualizing yourself as somebody who's lost the battle, it could be turned around. You could flip that valley or that canyon. You flip that, and it becomes the highest mountain. The thing is that we've been so used to seeing ourselves in a manner that's destructive to our own person that it's become ingrained. All of our neurons are firing in that direction. So it becomes easy and automatic for us to do that. You know, this is really what this comes down to, guys. It really comes, there's really no other thing. We have 25,000 different ways we can go about this. But until we can see ourselves as the antithesis of what we feel like in that particular moment, until we can flip our thoughts, until we're sick and tired of this bull and say, listen, I'll do anything. Many of us will do anything. We'll take the supplements. We'll sit through therapy sessions. We'll do every single thing that's told us to do. We'll read books. We'll join groups. We'll change our friend group. We'll analyze our relationships. We'll change our diet. We'll exercise. None of it is going to work until we could do this. And like I said, even if you have to white knuckle it, it has to happen. The irony is no one can do it for each other, you know? All I could do is guide you towards doing it. And I do visualization sessions, sectors of my sessions with all my clients. I try to, unless they have a severe aversion towards it. But I try to encourage it away from our sessions. To not just see it, but to feel it, to taste it. What would food taste like to you? What would music sound like to you? And then to show gratitude for that transformation is the next key. Again, that could be a different video. But that's what I mean by putting the carriage before the horse. Because we know now, and it's been proven, the power of that. Our heart has to beat as the person we want to transform into in the present moment in order for our future to display it to us. Enough of the old thoughts, you know? And no beating yourself up if you're not successful in feeling that right away, or if you only feel it for a moment. Let's get back to our imagination that we used when we were in high school math class and we didn't want to be there. Visualizing about adulthood and our future. I remember I would get so entranced inside my own imagination that I would hear things. I'd hear whatever environment that I was in. Completely drown out the teacher and have to get snapped back into reality. That's what we have to do. We have to get to a point where our visualizations about who we want to transform into get so deep that we have to get snapped back into our present moment. And I'm telling you that it works. I promise you that it works. There's nothing else that works like it. So when you get with me and you've given me the honor to help guide you, that's what I'm going to do. That's going to be one of the things that we do. And I don't want you to think of it as woo-woo and strange and weird. Without it, there's no change. There's no transformation. It's complex and simple at the same time. But it's one of those things that, done regularly, it can't not have long-standing effects on you and your nervous system and how you see yourself and how you see the world. being patient with it is important, but also not expecting it to take a whole nother lifetime, because the deeper that you go, the deeper the transformation. I promise you it works. I promise you it works.